everyone, it's me, Delobos. I know, upload, don't bring up my upload schedule, okay? That's the last thing I want to hear about. Today, I was having a chat with a mate, and he showed me his YouTube channel. We'll get to his YouTube channel at the end of the video, because I think he deserves more than a shout out. But that's not the subject of today's videos, because you guys can read, I hope. I am going to be making an army diary and just diary about my journey into Flames of War. And eventually I'm going to do one for Team Yankee as well, because I've got some Team Yankee over here that I have had primed like this. I'm going to have to reprime the shit, because that primer right there, shit, bad. But I want to show my journey into Team Yankee and Flames. And what not better place to start than what I've been painting this evening. My hand was way too close to the camera there, Jesus Christ. So today I have been working on my final Comet and my two Cromwells with, I don't know what gun they've got, but all I know is it shoots howitzer shells and an anti-armoured vehicle round. Not tanks, hell no, they can't fight tanks, but they can pop like light armoured cars and stuff. And you're probably wondering, why do you have one Comet? Because I've got a whole army over there. I know the lighting's really bad, but the rest of my Comets have been painted. Flames of War. I picked up a box called Comet Armoured Squadron. That was 140 New Zealand dollars. So I don't know how much it is overseas. And a book for Bulge British, because World War II has always been a very interesting topic to me, and the Battle of the Bulge is by far actually one of my more favourite battles to learn about. And when I found out I could run the British and Bulge, like, come on, I had to do it. That book was $31.50. I got an entire army with its rulebook and transfers for under $200 New Zealand. So that's going to be even cheaper overseas. How is, like, that is just too good. That is just too good. I can't stress that enough on how good that is, but it's just Jesus Christ. Let's talk about colours. We'll get to me simping over Flames of War, because Jesus Christ, I love this game. I've had one game, and oh boy, I've got nothing but praises for it. I've got one thing though, that I'll get to that. Train of thought, stay on it. I've been painting these tanks. Let's get my Comet. I'm really happy with my Comets. So my Comet here, ignore the Space Marines, they're not part of this video. My Comet here was painted 90% with G-Dub paints. This right here, plus a can of Death Guard green spray, is what I'm using to paint, and some Lamy and medium, but I've moved all my paint to different storage. Yeah, you don't need a lot of paints to paint British. Obviously, other armies, like my friends Germans, will need a bit more paints. But yeah, like, I'm just getting my army tabletop ready, and then I'm gonna do some more work on it. But yeah, like, that many paints to paint some tanks. It's pretty good. For reference, that is Nurglen Green, Hagrix Earthshade, that is Lead Belcher, Dryad Bark. You're like, where's the Dryad Bark? It's the sponging. Let's see if I can get like a good. Let's see if this camera wants to focus. I don't think she does. That's okay. I use that for like the sponging and Mornfang Round and a dry brush of metallics for the tracks. And some Fenrisian Grey. Okay, it is a total of eight paints. That's obviously Zandri. Different tanks will need different amounts of paint, but the average paint palette is just that there. So, I mean, like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good, I must say. So yeah, painting them, not difficult. The models, let's get rid of my Space Marines for comparison. Not much bigger. And these one of my, okay, let's do that one. That's one of my bigger tanks. Not my biggest. Those are the Churchills, which I am planning on getting. But yeah. So let's move on to why Flames is such a great tabletop game, in my opinion. Just my opinion. You can disagree. All good. One, it rewards you for unit diversity. If I ran an army of all tanks, I would get royally screwed. Because any other tank that's good at fighting tanks will mulch you. Yeah, you might mulch them, but infantry will mulch you. yeah, you might mulch you won't mulch the infantry. If you've just got tank killing tanks, like if I ran an army of comets, sure, any tank that I look at funny will blow up. But then what am I going to do? They don't have high explosives. They can't kill infantry. See? And then infantry as well. Oh my god. They are slow, sure. But as long as they're not fighting something that is dedicated to killing infantry, like units with a rule called brutal, which is meant for killing infantry, you're not going to have a fun time fighting them unless you are other infantry. Like this gun, it's not great, but it can do the job. It also, it does punish you. It's a very involved, very flowing game. If you sit still with 99% of armies, you're going to get screwed over. The whole point of the game is to get at a safe distance to fire at your opponent, but safe enough that they can't fire back at you efficiently. It's quite difficult to do, but it can be done. Now, that's the premise. Like, the game flows really smooth. Like, each combat engagement is usually 3 to 4 dice rolled, and combat is 1 dice. I repeat, rolling to resolve combat is 1 dice roll, set of dice rolls per player. Yeah, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. I haven't found any rerolls in the game. I know Brutal does rerolls, but not in a good way. So, you know, I don't see that as a positive or negative. I just thought that'd be a point to bring up. So if you're used to the old 40k Space Marines rerolling 1s, which is probably going to change with 10th, doesn't matter. It's not much there here. But yeah, I had a game, as I've said, which helped me learn the basics of not only the game rules, which flow very smoothly, but also taught me about the unit diversity. If I hadn't had a certain amount of units, like the unit the Archer, which any tanker looks at, whether it be a Panther, a Tiger, maybe not a King Tiger, but most, if not all, tanks it looks at will blow up. That thing hits like an absolute truck, but can take no punishment. So I had these tanks here to go up and take the punishment for it. Turrets turn, that's a big bonus, so you can go like beep beep beep, you know, make funny tank noises. But also just like, historicals are a nice change of pace. From having to paint Space Marines and Dwarves and Easterlings and converting, it's a nice change of pace. I know historicals aren't for everyone, and I'm not saying that everyone must get into historicals. It is a must. It's just, if you want to paint something different, I cannot recommend these tanks enough. Easy to build. You can put like a squad of 4 of these together in like 15 minutes if you're really fast. Took me 45 because I was eating Colonel Sanders. Colonel at the time. I was about to say eating Colonel Sanders. What am I? Eating KFC at the time, but you know, it's not a hard build. But yeah, what else can I say about Flames that's like positive? Oh yeah, let's get to that one little negative I have. The one little negative I have is sometimes infantry can feel a little too good. It's a very small gripe. It is me personally. It's because, okay, let's be real, it's because I have no ways to properly kill infantry without going into melee. Which is another one of my army strengths too, by the way. But yeah, it's just infantry can be a little overpowered, but I suppose they are, you know, factored in with the move. Like, they only move like 8, where these things can run across roads 32 inches. Games boards are quite big, so it's not as great as it sounds. But a thing with I don't know what kind of gun that is, but it hits like a truck. It's pretty good. And when I was talking about the army boxes before, it's an actual army box. It is a proper army. Because there's like formations and things. It's not like 40k formations. Don't have a cardiac arrest 40k players. It's okay. It's just standard list building. It's like a patrol detachment. It's just you have to take not Cromwells. Well, you have to take these ones, but you have to take comets too. But yeah, so that's what I've painted. I've also painted those 3 comets over there in the shelf of shame with all the sprays and terrain that I'm painting. But yeah, so I'm going to be posting one of these every week, showing you what I've painted and what I'm working on. Any games that I've had. My game against the Germans was really fun. It was super close. I think if I hadn't rolled well on the final turn, my goose would have been cooked, as they say. Yeah, so that's all I got to say in this video, everyone. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate everyone being here. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Peace.